just kind of getting everything together for that, actually. So, yep. So I'm live on Periscope. I am live on YouTube. It's good, guys. It's excellent because we are going to be having our book club meeting. Make sure I show it to all the platforms. Super exciting, and we'll see if we can get this going. So before we get started with the book club, I would love for everyone to make sure that you're sharing this. So uh, what do you have to do? Simple. Share it on your profile, share it with friends, family. We're talking about Poker Woman. So if you are a fan of professional success, personal success, if you are a fan of lots of different things like living and winning and just feeling like you're living your best life, then this is definitely the conversation for you. This is definitely a book that you're going to want to know more about. So with that, I think we can get started. Again, what are we talking about? Poker Woman, Poker Woman. Woohoo! Share this out, guys. So I got the summary from, I'll just hold it here for you Periscope people. You guys can see that from Amazon. So if you are interested in getting a copy of the book, if you don't already have the book, then you can get a copy at dressingroom8.com. And on Amazon, the summary is pretty simple. It says, Poker Woman teaches women how to get what they want at work and in their personal lives by using the psychological and strategic skills of poker. The book shows women how thinking like a poker player will make them smarter, sexier, more confident, and more successful, and provides compelling real-life stories to prove it. The book includes essential poker as life lessons, including creative bluffing, how to stop betting like a girl, how to read tells, the body language that reveals a person's unspoken thoughts and feelings, perfecting your poker face, knowing when to fold them and get out of a dead-end job or relationship, overcoming losses and getting back in the game, and how to stop apologizing. It makes you sound like a loser. Yeah. That's pretty intense, guys, right? It's definitely really intense. So with that, let's kind of talk about it. So as you see, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Periscope. This has been something that I was easily able to get through this. It's a very quick read. If you are into books like self-development books and they're like too long, this won't bother you. You can read this in a day. You can read it over a weekend, pretty easy. So I thought that was a pro. I think when it comes to professional development, it's really key to get people's attention, grab it, move on with it, and keep it moving. People don't have a lot of time, and or they don't use their time appropriately, right? We indulge in negativity to the end, but when it comes to positivity, ain't nobody got time for that. So, okay, cool. So there's that. It's definitely right in your face, like even in the summary where it talked about how to be sexier, how to stop betting like a girl. I think this book is a little before the Me Too movement, so I don't know if that's necessarily the best language to go with right now, but it's something. Definitely in your face. At the end of every chapter, let me give you an example. You find really key summaries. So you can't read backwards, but you'll see. Summary. Got it, right? And that I found to be very easy. And we're going to go over some of them because that's what we do for the Dressing Room 8 Book Club. And just for everyone tuning in, if you're not already familiar with who I am, hello. My name's Natasha Nurse. I am the co-founder, and owner of Dressing Room 8. It is a coaching and consulting platform. I do a lot of content development, like now, being on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, hello. And my mission essentially is to educate and inspire women to do three primary things: to think with clarity, dress with confidence, and live with purpose. And so I have guest content that really speaks to any three of those things. So we're talking fashion, we're talking lifestyle, we're talking mindset. Those are the three primary things that I work with and I work on as a coach and through the consulting work that I do. So with that, for this book club this month, again, Poker Woman, if you aren't already familiar, is a hell of a book. It's I don't necessarily agree with everything. I'm not a poker player. That's why I was really attracted to reading this book, because I was like, oh, I don't play poker. Could be helpful to know how to use it, how to employ those techniques, right? So with that, I think in addition to the fact that it is very strategic, and from the title, it says like talking about, how to win at love, life, and business. I really felt like the book stuck to that. I don't think it departed. I don't think it was unfocused at all, which is really helpful. Sometimes books can meander on and you're just like, why can't you guys, like, I don't know, pick a topic and stick to it, right? So she did. The author's name is Ellen Lakeland or Lakeland. So some cons. A couple of things. In one of the chapters, she's talking about a recommendation for women to flaunt what we got, right? To kind of use our assets for the better of our career, for the betterment of our success. However, again, like I said, I think this book is pre-Me Too movement. So I don't necessarily know if that advice still holds up. However, I would say that, I think that's not a one size fit all type of advice to give, because some people are fine, right? Like, I like makeup, I like dressing up, I like showing my assets, but I wouldn't necessarily say that that's advice across the board for all women, because sometimes I think with women, what we have to remember is that our behavior gets interpreted, right? And people generally, women, men, whatever. So what we're doing, like, we have our intentions behind what we're doing, but is that always the same intention that's received by our audience? Not necessarily, right? If there's any ambiguity, if there's any invitation that we don't necessarily think we're putting out there, I think we have to be careful, especially as women, because I think, as for myself, I know, regardless of whether someone finds me attractive or not, at the end of the day, I want to be taken seriously for what's in here, right? I want you to connect with me because of my mind. I want you to connect with me because of my message. I don't want you to just connect with me because you're like, oh, you look just like me, right? Like, yay, that's helpful and that's empowering. But what is my message doing for you? What is my message making you feel? I think that that's most important to remember. And so when we're in the boardroom, when we're having deals, when we're making moves in our career, in our businesses, we got to make sure that the message is the right message and that we're steering towards the mind, not the other stuff. And I get it, right? I can't hide my body. I can't hide my sexuality and all of that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not selling sex. So that's not the platform that I have. I understand some people do, but I was a little turned off by that advice, because I just think that, it's a little offensive, right? Like, at the end of the day, if I'm dressing good or I'm wearing makeup, it's not because I want you to be like, oh, you're pretty, but it's like, I'm wearing it because I enjoy it, and that's what I'm about, right? And that needs to be that needs to be crystal clear across the board. Another thing, I didn't walk away from this book feeling like I knew how to play poker, and I don't think that's the intention as well. So that's okay, right? Like, even in on Amazon.com, I think a quote by CompletePokerRules.com, it says, "You see, this book isn't about winning at poker. It's about winning at work, love, and life through poker. Lakeland's philosophy hinges on the idea that there are huge similarities between the game of poker and the game of life." So if you're thinking about how to learn poker, this is not the book for you. There are principles about poker in it, but it is not going to teach you how to play the game of poker. So that's also something, if that was what you were looking for, you wouldn't get that necessarily from this, okay? Another thing, I don't know, I felt like after reading this book, it wasn't like revolutionary, right? It wasn't like mind-boggling, breaking the bank in the mental bank, metaphorically speaking. It wasn't any of that stuff. And so I don't know. I think I had higher expectations for like how to win at love, life, and business. I thought there was going to be some like secret sauce of her success, because we all have our own journey and secret sauce of what we do. But I didn't necessarily get that. I felt like there were clear instructions. There were clear tips and advice moments and things to think about. But I wasn't like deeply moved by it. And so is it a book I would recommend? Yeah, I would recommend it. But I would say that ultimately, I don't think you're going to pick this up and you're going to be like, oh my God, this changed my life. Like, for me, it wasn't a life-changing book. It was an interesting book. It was something that made me say, interesting, right? But I wasn't like, oh my God, this changed my life. Like, I think there's certain books like The Secret that can be life-changing for some people. The Bible, right? Like, it depends on what your flow is, what you're reading. But this didn't do that for me. But with that, let's talk about some memorable moments before we run out of time. And just went swimming, y'all. Swimmer's ear is interesting. All right, let's get to page 49. And if you have the book, please crack it open with me. And I think most of the pages I picked from were the summary so that we can go through that together. Page 49, playing your hand. Make sure you are protecting the image you want. Look the part, dress the part, and act the part. And people will perceive the image you are trying to project. Look beyond the obvious to truly understand other people. Modify your image if you're not getting the results you want. Interesting advice, right? Interesting advice. A lot of people underplay the value of dressing up in their life. A lot of people underplay the value of using fashion as a tool. And that's something that I talk about. That's something that I live and preach in my mind and for my fans and my community, which includes you as you tune into this. But I think that's something that needed to be said. So that's definitely something that wasn't necessarily life revolutionizing, but it's like real talk, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, you can't ignore this, right? That's the first thing that people see. They look at this and that's the first thing they see. So what is that image going to be? For you, you have to decide. Like for me, natural hair is a part of my image. It's something that I've never permed my hair. I want to be an advocate for natural hair and natural hair styling. Could I be better at natural hair styling? Of course I could. But at the end of the day, I let my locks out. I let my mane out. I want people to know that natural hair is beautiful. Natural hair can absolutely be professional. Natural hair is a part of my branding as a human being, as a woman of my community, as a brand for my businesses. So it's something that's important to me, and people will make judgment calls about that, right? So just think about that. Just think about the branding, the personal branding that's going on, and the presentation that attaches with that. And the comment about, you know, modify your image if you're not getting the results you want. I think you need to think about it from a you perspective, though. Like I get that she's suggesting that like maybe if you do something different, you'll get different responses from other people. But again, we have to always remember we're living life for ourselves, right? We're not living for anyone else, because it gets problematic if we feed into that engine of others. Because if we're like only doing things for other people, well, people are what? People are very fickle, and people will leave and be like, peace out. And then some people will love you and be with you forever. It's too chaotic, right? We can't, wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. So we've got to make sure at the end of the day that we're here for us and we're doing for us, and other people are benefiting from the conversation. Other people are benefiting from what we're saying, but we can't feed into the everything I do is for other people, because people will lead you astray. So it's a dangerous, slippery slope, and you have public conversations about that. You talk about that, but you don't definitely just like put that as a standard. Like I do whatever people love, because people can lead you very, very astray. They can lead you to craziness. So you got to be careful. Next, page 63. I hope you're enjoying the Dressing Roommate Book Club. This is the first time it's been on Periscope. So welcome, Periscope fans, and YouTube. Is this the first live? I think so. Facebook, we've been doing it for a while. Well, it's been hosted here. So, you know, you should know the drill. Page 62 through 63 of Poker Woman. Pay attention not only to your situation, but to that of others around you in order to make the most informed decisions. Don't make conflict personal. Whether you win or lose, you shouldn't ruin a relationship. Choose your battles wisely and pick the prizes you really want to go after. Recognize when your competitive set has changed. So this is commentary around understanding your marketplace, which is important if you guys are entrepreneurs. If you're in business, it's important not to put yourself in a bubble, right? And to be like, well, I'm just doing me. Yes, baby, you are just doing you, but what's the market that your beautiful self is in? You got to know, right? When the chips are up for others, when the chips are down for others. Doesn't necessarily deter you from doing stuff. It doesn't necessarily define business decisions, entrepreneurial goals for yourself, but it's just important to understand your marketplace. Understand what are you about, what's going on with the business, what's going on with the industry, and act with information and be informed, right? I think that's what that's speaking to. I love the comment, don't make conflict personal. Whether you win or lose shouldn't ruin a relationship. Yeah, people, people really put a lot behind winning. They want to be right. Sometimes they want to be right over maintaining a relationship. Sometimes they want to be right over making enemies. They don't care. They're like, I'm right. And they're losing sight of the bigger picture, which is we should be developing and building relationships, not Xing them out and not creating enemies, because you have to be right. That's too short-sighted. We can't lose sight of, don't lose sight of the trees for the forest, right? Like you gotta understand your main objective for what you're doing as an entrepreneur, as an author, as a mother, as a creative, whatever your titles are. And we as people wear many different titles. We got to make sure we keep it professional. And when we do have conflict, be objective, be professional about it. Don't get too personal, because it's not gonna fare well for you. Choose your battles wisely and pick the prizes you really want to go after. I love that. For me, that spoke to the idea that like you don't need to argue with everyone. And I think this is really true for anyone on social media, that like not every negative comment needs 12 back and forths, right? Like at the end of the day, you can state your statement, and sometimes you got to block, and sometimes you got to remove things as spam or report it, right? Like not everything is going to be able to pull your attention equally. Some things are more important than others. So stop acting as if, right, that like everything that happens is 100% like the most important thing. What are your 4 main goals you're working on today, right? Like hopefully it's make money, right? We all need to make money. Secondly, I would hope it's professional development. I would hope it's personal development. I would also hope that your health is important today. And also, you know, whether you're spiritual or community oriented, whatever you believe in, whatever beliefs you tap into, that you're enhancing every single day, right? But like arguing, gossiping, bullshit arguments and fights with people, quarreling with people, belittling people, that should not be on your to-do list. Like that should not ever be on your to-do list. And if it is, we've just got to reevaluate. That's all. We have to reevaluate and say, well, why am I here? What's my purpose on this planet, right? Is your purpose on this planet to gossip? Is your purpose to make people feel like shit? Because if it is, let's have a conversation about that, because, you know, that's interesting, right? That's your prerogative. You have that right to decide that for yourself. But is it going to make you the happiest? Is it going to give you the most joy and fulfillment in life? I beg to think not. So let's just think about that. Okay. Next, we're like running almost out of time, guys. This is really crazy. Time goes by so quickly here. When you're having fun. Ooh, I like this. So page 73. Don't let emotional attachment cloud your judgment. Recognize when you are beaten. Beware love at first sight. Looks can be deceiving. Don't be afraid to cut your losses, even if you've made an investment. Don't fold out of fear. There's a lot of stuff to unpack there. So first of all, emotional attachment to things, right? Sometimes things we have to let them go, even if we're emotionally attached. I learned this when I've had to move, when I've had to, not necessarily my recent move, but like when I was a child going through when my family was going through some changes, when things sometimes that you adore aren't things that you can carry on forward in your life, it can feel devastating. It can feel like your entire life is over, right? But these are emotions. And if you're a fan of Joyce Meyer has a book that is called Living Beyond Your Feelings. And outside of the faith-based messaging that's attached to it, I think everyone can agree that we have to live beyond our feelings, because sometimes our feelings betray us. Our feelings will say, oh, well, I don't need to work out today. Well, you actually need to move your body every day, right? We have to. That's healthy. It's a part of success. It's a part of making sure you can be on the planet for as long as you like. You got to move. You got to walk. You got to dance. I don't care what you got to do, but you have to move your body, right? But sometimes you're not into it, right? Sometimes your feelings are like, chick, please. Good for you. That's good for those feelings. Live beyond them. So that's important. Recognize when you're beaten. That's interesting, right? I think there are, I guess it would depend on how you define beaten. It would depend on how, like, what's the purpose of that? Like, is it to understand how to pivot? Is it to understand how to move forward? Or is it to wallow in that failure, in that teachable moment? I don't think that that's ever healthy. We all are going to fail and falter. It's called being a human being. Welcome. It's very nice, right? Welcome to the world of being a human. You're going to falter. You're going to have things where you're like, right? So it is what it is, but don't like wallow. Oh my God, why? That's not helpful. It's not productive. It's a waste of bloody time. So there's that. Beware of love at first sight. Looks can be deceiving. This is important. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. For me, I haven't been in the dating game for a many long time. Me and my husband, we met 14 years ago. We've been together ever since. So, you know, I snatched my fish and ran with it. But for y'all out here still looking, still, you know, I'm cute. Hey, you're cute. But it's important to ask critical questions. I love to talk about love. I actually don't talk enough about it on this platform. That's because I talk about it with my husband on our podcast. Hey, Cutter Warner, aka Hilly, brother-in-law, coming through. Hello, hello. But with love, what's important is critical questions. I would say the reason me and Khalil have had a relationship of going on 7 years, it'll be of marriage next year, I believe. 14 years, going on 15 years, actually, this coming up next month together, is because we asked critical questions. We understood who the hell we were getting involved with. This idea that like you don't know who you sleep next to is creepy and unnecessary, because there's so much information that we all carry within us. And sometimes it's hard to ask those hard questions. But it's harder? Being in a relationship with someone you don't know. Creepy, super creepy. So ask critical questions. And if you want to know more content about that, we can find a way to work that into the Dressing Room Mate platform. Let me know. Put it in the comments. But that's the thing. Yeah, the love at first sight. Is it really love? No, right? Because you don't know anything about the person. I think a basis of love is to have knowledge of the person. So you might be extremely attracted and you might be like, damn, she looked good. He looked good, right? That's what I thought about my hubby. But I still had to ask him critical questions. I had to ask him 24,000 questions just so we get to this point and I can ask him another 24,000 questions. And thankfully he loves it, right? But you got to ask critical questions. You can't be in a relationship with people you don't know. That's madness, pure madness. Okay. So there's that. And then don't fold out of fear. Guys, have you ever seen my, which side is it? I think it's this side. Have you seen my tattoo? I don't know if you guys can see on Facebook, on Instagram, not Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Periscope. You know what that says? It's fearlessness, right? We're fearless, right? It says fearless. You have to be fearless. You cannot live your life with fear. I don't know how many people I see who are extremely successful talk about this idea. Fear gets you nothing. It gets you nothing. Fearlessness now can feel like it could put you into danger. It can put you out of your comfort zone. Guess what? That's welcome to being a human being. Hello, it's nice to meet you. It's a part of this package, guys. It's a part of the road, this yellow brick road we call life. Yeah, baby. You got to get ready for it. So if you're not ready for it and fearlessness is an issue for you, again, put it in the comments. Let me know. Hello, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook. Put it in the comments and let me know. And I'm happy to do more programming around that. But fearlessness is how you leap into the future for what you want for yourself, into the future for what you deserve. Fearlessness. No one ever said who was successful. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for being fearful, because fearfulness got me my $1 million. Fearfulness got me that album deal. No, no, just no. Okay. So I hope that's crystal clear. Oh gosh. Okay. I'll do a couple more and then we're going to wrap this session up. Because the book club, it's only 30 minutes, guys. That's why I love reading, because the after talk is like super short, right to the point. So let's go to page 123. Let's see. And if you are unfamiliar, again, with the book club as a whole, if you go to dressingroom8.com, click on book club, you can learn more about the book club. You can check out, the events page to see calendars, see what we're reading for September, my birthday month. Woohoo! Virgo season is the best. You know that. So 123. Find the people from whom you can learn the most. Ooh, I'll read that again. Find the people from whom you can learn the most. Keep an eye on weaker company to learn what you should not do. Love it. Replay key events after time has passed to figure out what you should not have done and what worked well. So what's this? This is all about reflection and auditing, right? That's what that's about. It's about the idea that we take steps in our business, in our lives, in our personal lives, in our love relationships, and some things work and some things don't. And so it's important to be reflecting and assessing, right? What do corporations have to do? I always go back to that because, again, we're feeding these corporations our money, and they continue to make more and more, which is great. That's capitalism. That's the economy. That's what we all wanted here, right? So great. But we have to also learn, right? Why is Coca-Cola running game for a very, very long time? Hey there. they make assessments. They figure out, hey, what worked well this quarter, what didn't work well. We have to do the same in our own lives. We cannot continue to live and just make decisions and do things and never take a moment to sit back and reflect. So that's why I do journaling, and personally I write about topics, things that I'm thinking about. I write about events that have happened, and how I could have done them differently, how things could have done differently. So it's important to reflect. I think that that's what that's speaking to. And then we'll pick the last one, and then we're going to wrap this up. So I know this has been fun. It's been super fun. I'm sweating, so I know I'm having fun. I mean, yes, I'm in Arizona, but nonetheless, it's hot out here in these streets, y'all. Page 154. Keep your cool. If you do everything right and still lose, there's always another hand. Nice. Don't go on tilt. Accept that a situation isn't fair rather than letting it rattle you and sway your focus. Avoid making your bad beat stories too public. Okay. Don't let your emotions lead you to make desperate actions. Don't try to get even. So again, this is emotional check, right? This is that conversation of like, maybe you're playing poker, maybe you're dating someone and it's not going well. Cut your losses, acknowledge where you played a role in kind of the downward spiral that's happening, and keep it moving. And how can you move differently? How can you behave better in the next relationship? How can you make better business decisions? How can you make better career decisions? How can you make better decisions as a mom, right? Like all of that good stuff. It applies. And that's what's really cool about this book, that like whatever titles you have, like I'm not a mom, but I am an entrepreneur. I am a wife, right? I am a daughter. So those are the titles that work for me. And so I can think about this and say, well, how can I be a better daughter? How can I be a better wife? How can I be a better businesswoman? All of those good things, better content creator, all that jazz. All right. So again, if you haven't checked out Poker Woman, check it out. Go to dressingroom8.com, pick up your copy of the book. It'll be on Amazon that you'll be buying it. And that would be fan-freaking-tastic. All right. And with that, I think I'm nearly done sweating and it's time for dinner. Keeping it 100. I believe in content creation, it's important to be as transparent as possible. So your girl's hungry. It's time to wrap this up. But I've had so much fun. So let's get to takeaways from the book. We need to think about strategy. We need to think about, especially as women, we have to be strategic in the relationships we get into, in the jobs that we choose, in the businesses that we start, the businesses that we decide to grow, the businesses we decide to stop, whatever. Strategy is important in every aspect of life. Go figure. Hello, it's welcome to being a human. Wonderful. It's so nice to meet you. Right? Like that's where we're at with it. To be human is to live, is to be strategic. Can we get it? Can we get on that vibe? I like it, right? To be human, to be strategic. To be human, to be strategic. Yes, that works. Okay. So get that going. And I think you'll vibe with it. It'll make sense for you. You'll be like, all right, Tasha, this works. Next. And this is important. This is for all my outright feminists and all my hidden feminists and all my people who don't understand feminism. Being a woman is not a disadvantage. Being a woman is an advantage. Womanhood is an amazing thing to be a part of. We are the creators of life. There's no more important power than to be a creator. We created life and continue to create life. Being woman is badass. You are a goddamn warrior and you're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. So if that ever was concern for you, let me tell you, you're badass. Whether you have children or not, you are a part of a community that is effing amazing. So don't ever question your power and your greatness. You're a badass. You're a warrior. So it's an advantage, not a disadvantage. Use it how you see fit, right? I'm always going to be of the perspective of use our mind. If you use your body, if you use your other feminine wiles to get what you want, do what you need to do, be responsible, keep moving other women forward in the journey so that we bring us all along together. But remember, we are badass. It is fan-effing-tastic to be a woman. Don't ever question that. Next, it is important that we figure out how to read other people. So understanding physical positions, like what this means, like certain things that people fluttering, tapping, what are all those things mean, guys? Like what are they saying to you, to the situation? What is nerves, all of that. So understanding how to read your audience is important. Okay, that's going to help you make more deals, help you solidify more things in your life. So understanding that it's not just all about us, but it's about the room, it's about the attention, it's about your audience tuning into you, understanding what's going on with them and how you can better connect, better educate, better feed the people that are feeding you. All right. And then lastly, I think the biggest takeaway I took away from the book was the idea that you have to understand your own strengths. Understand your strength as a poker player, as a woman, as an entrepreneur. What are your strengths? For me, I would say I love public speaking. I would say that would be a strength of mine, right? I think getting in people's face and helping people understand that, like, you got to get real, you gotta get organized, you got to do what the F you got to do in life is something that that's a thing that I'm working on. And it's something that I've easily been able to say and do since I was a child. So that's my strength. What's your strength? What's your strength? What's something that you're really good at? You're probably good at a lot of different things, but what's like your one thing, like that that you ain't nobody like Serena Williams. When you say what's her strength, tennis player, God, she's a god. She's a god on the court. Yes, right? Get clear on what your strengths are and then find a way to monetize, right? Find a way to use that passion and build upon it if that's something that you're interested in. If you're of the entrepreneurial mindset or, you're vibing that, get on it. That's how you monetize. You monetize on the things that you're good at, and you surround yourself with the other people to help you on the things that you may not be good at or the things that you just don't want to put time towards doing, and you grow and you build a platform. All right. So what's next? So first of all, Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining the Dressing Room 8 August book club meeting. Woohoo! We are done, guys. Like, that's awesome. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed my sweating. I definitely did. This is great. Next, I want you to do a couple of things. Go to dressingroom8.com and please sign up for the newsletter. I send a monthly newsletter. It's a great way for us to connect. I'm planning for some cool, interesting things coming up. So stay in the loop and be a part of the newsletter. Next, subscribe to the blog so that you get notified and get emails every time there's a new blog post. Again, Dressing Room 8 is all about your career. It's about your mindset. It's about being fashionable and understanding how fashion plays a role in your life as it is an asset in your life and you can use to succeed at. And then go to the events page when you're there, because then you can see all my upcoming events. I have another one this weekend that's coming up for the Dear Journal for this month. So let's get it all in before the end of August and let's move through successfully into my birthday month. Woo-hoo! And then lastly, if you have book recommendations and stuff like that, please put them in the comments. Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, put them in the comments so I can check them out. I am planning. I think I have set what I want to read for 2020, but I'm open. I'm always flexible to make some changes if you guys have some really cool recommendations for the books. But we read one book a month because gosh darn it, if you can't read one book a month, we got to talk. We got to have a conversation. All right. One book a month. Let's get it done. I can't wait for you guys to join me again for the September book club meeting. It's been a blast. I'm going to say bye to all 3 platforms. Sadly, I can't do it at once. So let me close out my peeps. All right. So bye Facebook, bye YouTube, and then Periscope.